The galaxy was wide, ancient, and filled with memories both glorious and dark. Many civilizations rose and fell in the endless dance of time. Yet some stories were carefully hidden, erased from records so no one would ever question them again. One such story belonged to a species once known as humans. 800,000 years had passed since the Galactic Council made its final judgment on Earth's children. The Council had decided humans were too unpredictable, too passionate, and too dangerous to live freely among the stars. Their creativity made them strong, but it also made them reckless. Instead of complete destruction, the Council chose a quieter punishment. They placed humanity into a long cryo-sleep, locking them inside hidden vaults on distant worlds where no one would ever find them. Over time, even the memory of humans became a myth, whispered in fearful tones. Now far in the future, two explorers drifted through the outer rim of the galaxy in a small research vessel. Their names were Kiro and Vena, both from a young spacefaring race called the Luthari. Kiro was thin, long-limbed, with scales that shimmered like polished stone. He was a scholar at heart, filled with endless curiosity. Vena, his pilot and closest companion, was cautious and steady, her eyes always watching for danger in the silence of space. The ship glided through a forgotten sector, its scanners searching for useful resources. They expected nothing more than rocks and ice, but fate had other plans. "Unusual readings ahead," Kiro said, leaning over the control panel. His voice trembled with excitement. Metallic structures buried under the dust. "This is no natural formation," Vena frowned. "Old ruins, perhaps? Many species have left their bones in these empty regions. Best to mark the coordinates and move on." But Kiro's eyes glowed brighter as the scans came back. "No, this is different. Look here, the energy patterns are faint but still present. Something is sleeping down there." Vena shook her head. "Or something waiting to consume fools like us. Curiosity often kills explorers." Yet, as always, Kiro's desire for discovery was stronger than her caution. With a sigh, Vena guided the vessel down to the barren moon below. The surface was covered in gray dust, untouched for countless ages. Their ship landed near a jagged ridge, where a dark entrance yawned like the mouth of a cave. From within came faint signals, ancient yet persistent, like a heartbeat refusing to die. The two Luthari stepped inside, their suits glowing softly to light the way. The tunnel was artificial, walls lined with metal panels covered in centuries of rust. Symbols written in an unknown language marked the doors and halls, silent reminders of a forgotten people. They reached a vast chamber at the heart of the structure, and there both explorers froze in awe. Rows upon rows of tall glass chambers stood in perfect formation, stretching into the shadows. Inside each chamber lay a figure, strange, smooth-skinned creatures with strong builds and sharp features. They were unlike any species the Luthari had seen. Fragile at first glance, yet there was something powerful about them, even in sleep. "What are they?" Vena whispered, her voice filled with unease. Kiro moved closer to the nearest chamber, his eyes wide. "They are not recorded in our archives. Their form is efficient, balanced, as if designed for both strength and endurance." He placed a hand against the glass, studying the face of the being inside. "And look at their eyes, even closed they seem aware." Vena felt a shiver run through her. "This place is wrong. We should leave. Whatever these creatures are, the galaxy chose to forget them." Kiro shook his head slowly. Or perhaps the galaxy feared them. For hours, Kiro examined the machinery. He discovered the system still had a weak power source, ancient but steady. The cryo-sleep technology was unlike anything he had ever studied, efficient beyond belief, maintaining the bodies perfectly preserved for nearly 1,000,000 years. Vena's unease only grew. If they survived this long, perhaps they were meant to stay sealed. Do not awaken what was buried, but Kiro could not resist. His fingers danced across the controls, slowly feeding energy into the central core. A low hum filled the chamber as lights flickered on for the first time in countless ages. The air smelled of dust and old electricity. One chamber near the front began to glow. Frost melted away and the figure inside stirred slightly. Kiro leaned forward, breathless with anticipation. "Stop this madness," Vena cried, grabbing his arm. "We do not know what they are. We do not know why they were locked away. This could be a prison, not a tomb." Kiro's voice was calm but firm. Knowledge should never remain buried. If these beings lived once, then they deserved to be remembered. The glass chamber hissed open with a soft release of air. Inside the figure's chest rose and fell. Fingers twitched, eyelids trembled. And then slowly, the being awakened. It was a human, though Kiro and Vena did not know the word yet. The man opened his eyes, pupils adjusting quickly to the light. He was tall by Luthari standards, his body marked with the strength of a soldier. His gaze locked onto the two aliens, sharp and alert, not the dull confusion of one waking from endless sleep. For a moment, no one moved. The silence was heavy, broken only by the hum of the machines. Finally, the human spoke, his voice hoarse but steady. "Where am I?" The translator device on Kiro's suit worked furiously, rendering the strange sounds into their own language. Both explorers flinched at the sudden clarity of his words. Kiro stepped forward, bowing slightly in a gesture of peace. "You are safe. We are explorers. We found you here, asleep. Can you tell us your name?" The human's eyes narrowed. He studied them carefully before answering. "Captain Elias Wren, Earth Defense Fleet." His words carried authority, even though he had just awoken from centuries of silence. Vena's throat tightened. There was something in his gaze, something steady, unyielding. She whispered to Kiro, "This one is dangerous. I can feel it." But Kiro's excitement only grew. "Elias Wren, your people must have been great once. Do you know how long you have slept?" Elias shook his head, confusion flickering across his face. "The last thing I remember, we were ordered into stasis. A council decision. They said it was for preservation. For peace." His expression darkened. "Tell me, how much time has passed?" Kiro hesitated. "More than you can imagine. Over 800,000 years." For the first time, Elias faltered. His eyes widened, his breath caught. Yet he did not break. Instead, he closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them again with a strange calm. "So," he said softly, "they buried us in the dark and thought we would never return." Vena stepped back, her unease turning into fear. She whispered urgently, "Kiro, shut it down. Seal the chambers." This is no ordinary being, but Elias heard her. His eyes moved between them, sharp and knowing. He straightened, his voice steady. "If even one of us wakes," Elias said, "the council's decision will echo across the stars. Remember my words." The chamber was silent again, but the air felt heavier, charged with unseen power. Kiro felt a thrill run through him. The galaxy had forgotten these beings, but now he understood. They were not relics. They were not weak. They were sleeping giants, and one had just awakened. The chamber was still humming when Captain Elias Wren stood fully awake, his tall frame steady despite the long centuries of sleep. Kiro watched him with shining eyes while Vena kept her distance, her hand hovering near the controls in case something went wrong. The human's breathing was slow and controlled, his eyes sharp as they scanned the alien explorers, the chamber, and the glowing machinery around him. Even though he had just awoken, Elias carried himself like a soldier ready for command. "You said 800,000 years?" Elias asked again, his voice calm but heavy with disbelief. Kiro nodded, speaking carefully. "Yes, our scans confirm it. You were placed here long before our time. My people have no records of yours. You are a mystery." Elias tilted his head slightly, studying Kiro and then Vena. His sharp gaze seemed to read them both, as if measuring their strengths and weaknesses. "Who are you?" he asked. Kiro bowed his head respectfully. "We are Luthari, explorers, seekers of knowledge. We meant no harm when we entered this place. My name is Kiro and this is Vena." Vena's voice was firm but uneasy. "We found you sleeping, human. But I fear this is no accident. You were meant to remain here." The word human lingered in the air, strange yet familiar to Elias. He nodded slowly. "Yes, human, that is what we were called. So the council hit us well. Tell me, do the stars still belong to the council?" Both aliens exchanged glances. The council was still the greatest power in the galaxy, though now it had grown more rigid and controlling than ever before. Vena answered reluctantly, "Yes, they rule most of known space. Their word is law. Entire species bend to their decisions." Elias gave a faint, bitter smile. "So nothing has changed." He stepped forward, his muscles stiff but already adjusting. Vena instinctively pulled back, her instincts screaming that this being was more dangerous than he appeared. Kiro, however, moved closer, fascinated by every detail. "You are extraordinary," Kiro whispered. "Your body survived untouched for countless ages. Your mind is clear, your memory intact. How is this possible? Elias placed a hand on the chamber beside him, his eyes briefly softening. Because we prepared for it. Humanity knew the Council feared us. They said it was for peace, but really it was fear. We agreed to sleep, but deep inside we knew one day we might wake again. Some part of us always expected it. His words carried a weight that unsettled Vena. Peace through exile, she murmured. The Council must have believed it was the only way. Peace built on fear never lasts, Elias replied sharply. The silence grew heavy. The air seemed alive with tension, as if the very chamber held its breath. Finally, Kiro broke it with a question that had been burning inside him since they first arrived. What happened to your people? Why would the Council hide you away instead of destroying you? Elias's eyes darkened with memory. Because they could not destroy us completely. Humanity had spread too far, built too much. To wipe us out would have caused chaos in the galaxy. So they chose another path. Erase us from history, seal us away, let time do the rest. They thought when we woke we would be weak, lost, powerless. He looked directly at Kiro, his voice low but filled with steel. They were wrong. Vena's unease deepened. She turned to Kiro. This is dangerous. We cannot involve ourselves in this. The Council's law is clear. Interference with forbidden species is a crime beyond forgiveness. If they learn of this, both of us will be executed. But Kiro could not look away from Elias. His mind was alive with questions, his heart pounding with the thrill of discovery. Vena, do you not see? This is history itself standing before us. A piece of truth the Council buried. If we walk away now, the secret will remain buried forever. But if we learn from him... Elias watched the exchange quietly, his sharp mind piecing together their words, their fear, their loyalty to the Council. He understood more than they realized. At last he said, You fear your rulers. That has not changed in 800,000 years. But let me tell you something, explorers. My people, we never bowed for long. Even in chains, we found ways to rise. His voice carried such conviction that even Vena felt a chill. Kiro, nearly trembling with excitement, moved to another chamber. If one can awaken, perhaps more can as well. Think of it, Vena. An entire lost species brought back to life. Vena stepped forward quickly, grabbing his wrist. Do not even think of it. One is enough, and even he is too much. You are letting curiosity blind you. This is not knowledge, it is danger. But Elias raised a hand, his tone commanding. Stop. Both aliens froze, surprised at the authority in his voice. He looked at the long rows of chambers, his eyes lingering on each one. For a brief moment, pain flickered across his face. Not yet, he said quietly. Do not awaken them. They need time. If the Council still rules, then they will sense this disturbance soon enough. If they come and see all of us awake, they will strike with everything they have. Let them sleep for now. Kiro was shocked. You would not want your own people with you? To rebuild your species? Elias shook his head. I want them, yes, but I want them safe. One awakened human is already enough to stir the galaxy. If more of us rise too soon, the Council will burn this entire system to ash. Patience has kept us alive for this long. Patience will guide us again. Vena, for the first time, felt a flicker of respect. This being was not reckless as she feared. He was controlled, disciplined, perhaps even wiser than she expected. But the unease never fully left her. What will you do now? She asked. Elias looked around the chamber at the dead machines, the dust of ages and the faint glow of power that still lingered. Then he turned to the two explorers. I will learn. The galaxy has moved on, but so have I. I need to know what has changed, what has remained. If the Council still rules, then their mistake still stands. And mistakes sooner or later demand a price. Cairo's voice was filled with awe. You speak as if you are preparing for war. Elias's lips curved into a faint smile, not of joy, but of certainty. Not war, survival. And survival requires strength, knowledge, and allies. The words struck both aliens differently. Kiro felt his heart leap at the thought of joining such a being, of witnessing history in motion. Vena felt her stomach twist, imagining the weight of doom this human might bring. Elias stepped toward them again, closer than before. His presence was heavy, commanding, yet not hostile. Tell me, explorers, will you help me, or will you leave me to face this galaxy alone? The question hung between them like a blade. Kiro, without hesitation, said, Yes, I will help. Whatever knowledge you carry, whatever truth the Council tried to hide, it deserves to be known. Vena clenched her jaw. torn between loyalty to the Council's laws and the strange respect she felt for this awakened human. At last she said quietly, "I will not abandon you here, but if this leads us to ruin, remember, I warned you." Elias inclined his head slightly as if acknowledging a pact. His eyes turned once more to the endless rows of chambers, then to the dark ceiling above, where the stars lay waiting. "Then it begins," he said. The ancient base hummed around them, faint lights glowing like the heartbeat of something long forgotten but never truly gone. For the first time in 800,000 years, humanity had a voice among the stars again, and the galaxy would soon hear it. The old moon base had been quiet for so long that even the dust had grown undisturbed. But now, with Captain Elias Wren awake, the place was alive again. Machines hummed faintly as power returned to the walls, lights flickered after ages of darkness, and footsteps echoed where silence had ruled for almost 1,000,000 years. Cairo could hardly contain his excitement. Every hour he spent near Elias only deepened his fascination. He scribbled notes in his data slate, scanned Elias's vitals, and asked endless questions about human history, culture, and technology. Elias did not answer everything, but he gave enough for Cairo to see the outlines of something extraordinary, a species unlike any he had ever studied. Vena, on the other hand, watched everything with wary eyes. She stayed close to the ship, her instincts whispering danger with every new discovery. She did not trust Elias's calm voice or steady movements. No being could wake after 800,000 years and adapt this quickly. Yet the human did. His mind worked sharply, his body recovered rapidly, and his presence filled the chamber like a storm waiting to break. Still, Elias was not ungrateful. He worked alongside the explorers, learning about their technology with alarming speed. Within days, he understood more about their scanning tools and energy systems than most Luthari engineers would in years. He asked questions, then offered suggestions that improved the ship's efficiency. Even Vena, though cautious, was forced to admit his insights were useful. One evening, as the glow of the chamber dimmed into a gentle hum, Elias stood before the rows of cryo-tubes. He gazed at the sleeping figures of his people, his expression unreadable. Cairo joined him, his eyes wide. "There are thousands of them. Do you know their names?" "Some," Elias said quietly. "Soldiers, scientists, families. We were told this was a mission of survival, not exile. Many believed they would wake to a new dawn." His jaw tightened. "Instead, they were buried in silence." Cairo touched the glass of one chamber, his mind spinning with the thought. "If they woke now, imagine what they could teach us. Imagine what they could rebuild." Vena's voice cut sharply from behind. "Imagine what they could destroy." Both men turned. Vena stood at the entrance, her arms folded, her eyes narrowed. "Do not forget why the Council erased them. If they feared this species so much, then there was a reason." "You are letting curiosity blind you, Cairo." But Cairo shook his head stubbornly. "Fear does not erase truth. Look at what Elias has already shown us. His people were not just warriors, they were builders, thinkers, survivors. The Council did not fear destruction. They feared competition." Elias said nothing, though his lips curved slightly at Cairo's words. Over the next days, Cairo's curiosity grew harder to control. He studied the cryo-systems late into the nights, his mind burning with questions. The machines were unlike any technology he had ever seen, blending precision with simplicity in a way that felt almost elegant. To him, it was a treasure of knowledge too great to leave untouched. One night, while Vena slept aboard the ship, Cairo made his decision. He activated the secondary power conduits and sent energy into a small cluster of cryo-tubes. Lights flickered, frost cracked, and ancient systems came alive. Elias found him just as the first chamber hissed open. "Cairo," Elias said, his voice low but sharp. "What have you done?" Cairo's hands trembled with excitement. "I had to know. One human is a marvel, but what about many? What if they can remember more? What if they carry knowledge even you have forgotten?" The glass slid open and a woman stepped out. She was tall, her eyes sharp, her body lean with the strength of a soldier. She looked around with immediate awareness, then locked her gaze on Elias. "Captain Wren?" she asked, her voice hoarse but steady. Elias's face softened. "Lieutenant Kara Holt," he said. The woman straightened, saluting out of habit even after centuries. "Reporting for duty, sir." 2 more chambers opened. Another soldier and a scientist emerged, both disoriented at first but quickly regaining control. Elias guided them gently, explaining their long sleep in simple words. They listened, their faces hard but their eyes burning with resolve. Kiro could barely breathe. Amazing. They wake and they are already steady. No weakness, no confusion. I have never seen such resilience. Vena stormed into the chamber moments later, her eyes blazing as she saw the awakened humans standing. Kiro, what have you done? Kiro tried to explain, but she cut him off. You fool! One was already dangerous. Now you've brought more. Do you want the entire council to descend upon us? But before she could continue, Elias spoke. His tone was calm, but it carried authority that silenced the room. They are awake now and there is no turning back. If you wish to leave, Vena, do so. But know this, whether one or many, humanity will not remain silent forever. The newly awakened humans quickly adapted to the alien surroundings. Within hours, they examined the base's broken systems, repairing circuits with steady hands and sharp minds. The scientist, Dr. Marin, began studying the Luthari devices with fascination, already piecing together how to merge the old human technology with the explorer's tools. Vena watched in quiet horror as progress unfolded before her eyes. These humans learned faster than any species she had known. Where her people would take years of study, the humans grasped concepts in days, turning alien machines into useful tools. They are too fast, she whispered to herself. Too adaptable. This is what the council feared. Kiro, however, was nearly glowing with pride. Don't you see, Vena? This is exactly what the galaxy needs. A spark to shake the old powers, to break the council's chains, but Vena shook her head. A spark can also burn everything to ashes. As days passed, the moon base changed. Broken machines flickered with light. Corridors cleared of dust, and the air system slowly came alive. The place, once a tomb, now felt like an outpost preparing for life again. Elias stood at the center of it all, coordinating with ease. He did not command with threats, but with certainty, his voice steady and his vision clear. The other humans followed him without hesitation, trusting him as if no time had passed since their last mission. One evening, as they gathered around a restored console, Elias studied a star map Kiro had projected. His eyes narrowed as he saw the council's territories covering most of the galaxy. So they still rule, he murmured, but their grip looks tighter than before. Too tight, Kiro leaned closer. The galaxy has grown stagnant under their rule. Many species complain, but none dare to resist. Elias's gaze hardened. Then the galaxy has forgotten what resistance looks like. Vena, standing nearby, spoke sharply. Do not mistake silence for weakness. The council crushes all who stand against it. If they learn humans have returned, they will send fleets to erase you. Elias looked at her calmly. Then let them come. A storm always looks powerful until it breaks. His words unsettled her, but deep inside she knew he believed them. And that belief was what made him dangerous. Kiro, however, smiled. Perhaps the galaxy needs that storm. The tension between the three grew, but the work continued. The humans rebuilt, the Luthari recorded, and the base slowly transformed. Yet in the silence of the stars, signals traveled, faint but certain. Somewhere beyond the rim, the council had noticed. Part 4. The Return of Fire. The stars above the barren moon seemed calm, indifferent to the small drama unfolding below. But the calm was deceptive. Within the restored corridors of the ancient base, humanity stirred, their minds alive with purpose. Captain Elias Wren and his crew moved with quiet efficiency, organizing systems, repairing equipment, and learning the strange technology left behind by the Luthari explorers. Kiro and Vena watched them work. Kiro could barely contain his excitement. Look at them, Vena. They are learning, adapting, mastering systems no one else could. Humanity. They are extraordinary. Vena's eyes narrowed. Extraordinary, yes. But that makes them dangerous. Too many powerful minds in one place and the galaxy will notice. The council will notice. Elias approached them, his eyes thoughtful but firm. We have time, but not much. They will sense the disturbance soon. They always do. Who? Vena asked. The council, Elias said. Our absence has been deliberate, but the galaxy remembers. It does not forget easily. If they detect humans awake, they will come. And they will not come lightly. Kiro leaned closer, his voice trembling with anticipation. Then let them come. Humanity can handle it. They survived before and they can rise again. Elias nodded. Perhaps. But one awakened human can only do so much. More must be awakened if we are to survive, if we are to reclaim what was stolen from us. Vena stepped back sharply. No, you can't just awaken them. You don't know what the Council will do. They will destroy everything here before you have a chance to fight back. Elias looked at her steadily. And if we do nothing, we die slowly in silence. Humanity does not accept change for long. We adapt, we fight, and when the time comes, we rise. That night, the humans worked quietly but efficiently. Elias guided them, teaching them to navigate the old systems, to repair broken energy conduits, and to manipulate the base's defenses. The soldiers regained skills long forgotten, their bodies and minds conditioned for precision and strategy. The scientists revived knowledge of technology and medicine that had been lost to time. In every action there was a reminder. Humanity, though dormant for centuries, was far from weak. Kiro, working alongside Elias, felt a thrill unlike anything he had ever known. Every discovery, every repaired system, every new awakened human reinforced the truth he had long suspected. Humanity was special, unmatched in their ability to survive and adapt. Vena, however, could feel a storm gathering. Faint energy readings pulsed in the distance, signals traveling faster than expected. The Council was aware of the awakening, and with awareness came danger. Days passed and the base grew stronger. Humans learned to integrate the alien technology with their own, improving power flow, weapon systems, and communication networks. They studied the Luthari star charts, mapping potential routes for exploration and escape. Even in their cautious approach, the humans exuded confidence that unsettled Vena. One evening, Elias stood before the star map, his eyes scanning the galaxy. Kiro approached, curiosity written on his face. Captain, do you see it? The galaxy is waiting. Once humanity moves, nothing will ever be the same. Elias nodded, his gaze hardening. Yes, the galaxy has grown stagnant. Many species fear the Council, but they lack the courage to challenge it. Humanity, we are not afraid of rules built on fear. Vena's voice cut through the tension. Do not underestimate the Council. They command fleets capable of destroying entire planets. One human cannot stand against that. Elias turned to her, his tone calm but unwavering. We are not alone. Kiro believes in us, and soon others will awaken. Humanity is not meant to be small. We adapt, we endure, and when we rise fully. Vena's eyes narrowed. She did not trust the human's confidence, but there was a truth in his words she could not deny. Humanity's ability to survive against impossible odds was undeniable. It was during one of these quiet nights that the first warning arrived. The sensors picked up a fleet moving quickly through the outer rim, their trajectory aimed directly at the moon. The Council had detected the disturbance. Elias studied the readings, his face calm. They have come. As expected, but we are ready. Vena's heart raced. Ready? You have a few soldiers and scientists. That is not ready. That is suicide. Elias shook his head. It is not about numbers. It is about strategy, ingenuity, and determination. The Council relies on strength of numbers, but they underestimate what a few humans can do when survival is the only option. The humans worked through the night, preparing the base's defenses. Kiro assisted eagerly, marveling at every improvement. Vena reluctantly helped where she could, though her mind raced with concern. She watched as humans rewired the systems, hacked the alien sensors, and devised clever ways to turn the Council's technology against them. As the Council fleet approached, the first strikes began. The base's defenses, modified and strengthened by Elias and his crew, intercepted incoming weapons. Drones were reprogrammed to defend, energy barriers pulsed to absorb impact, and automated turrets targeted the enemy with unexpected precision. Vena could not believe what she was seeing. Humans, small in number, were holding their own against a fleet designed to crush entire worlds. Their adaptability and intelligence turned even the simplest tools into weapons of strategic advantage. Kiro's voice shook with excitement. This is incredible. They are turning the Council's strength against them. Look at their ingenuity. Elias, standing at the command console, gave orders calmly, with the certainty of a leader who had been trained for impossible odds. Redirect power to the shields. Prepare the drones for secondary attack. We will not give them the advantage. The Council fleet, confident in their overwhelming superiority, faltered. They did not anticipate humans who could think, adapt, and learn faster than any automated system or alien intelligence. The humans moved with precision, using the Council's own weapons to disrupt formations, disable engines, and create openings for counterattacks. Vena, watching in disbelief, whispered, They are doing it. They are winning. Elias turned to her briefly, his eyes sharp. Do you understand now? The council thought they buried humanity. They underestimated our creativity, our resilience, our will to survive. The battle raged for hours, yet the humans remained steady. They did not have the largest fleet or the most advanced weapons, but their minds were sharper, their strategies unpredictable, and their unity unbreakable. Kiro laughed in amazement as he watched. This is the power of humanity. The council cannot calculate it. They cannot predict it. They thought they controlled everything, but they forgot one thing. Humans never give up. By the time the council's fleet retreated, battered and confused, the humans had secured the moon base. Their victory was not complete. They had only held the line, but they had proven one undeniable truth. Humanity was back, and the galaxy would notice. Elias stood at the observation deck looking at the retreating fleet. This is only the beginning, he said. His voice was calm but filled with promise. We have survived the first test, but the galaxy is vast and the council will return. We must be ready. We must awaken more, grow stronger, and show the universe that humanity was never gone. We were merely waiting. Kiro approached, his eyes shining. Captain, what you just did? What they just did. It is more than survival. It is a warning. Humanity has returned, and the council will not forget it. Vena, finally understanding, stood silently. She did not agree with Elias's methods, but she could not deny the truth of his words. Humanity's return had changed everything. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted, and nothing would ever be the same again. Elias looked out at the stars, his mind already planning the next steps. The council will try again, and next time we will be stronger. Humanity will rise not just to survive, but to reclaim what was ours. This was the spark. The fire is returning. Kiro smiled, exhilarated, and we will witness it. Vena, though still wary, nodded silently. For the first time, she could see the truth in Elias's eyes. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was unstoppable once awakened, and in the distance, among the countless cryotubes still silent, more humans waited, sleeping embers of a species that refused to be forgotten. The galaxy had felt their absence for too long. The time had come for humanity to remind it why it had once been feared and respected. The stars above the barren moon shone cold and indifferent, yet below, the air inside the ancient base pulsed with life and energy. Humanity, awakened after 800,000 years of silence, had survived their first battle against the Galactic Council. But Captain Elias Wren knew this was only the beginning. The Council had retreated, but they would return. Their fleets, their power, and their fear of humanity would not allow them to forget. Elias moved through the base's corridors, observing his people. Soldiers, scientists, and engineers all worked together with quiet determination. Each step, each repaired system, each new strategy reinforced the truth. Humanity was alive again, and the galaxy would soon understand why they had once been feared. Kiro walked beside him, his eyes bright with excitement. Captain, what you and your people have done, it is incredible. They survived, adapted, and turned the Council's own power against them. I have never seen anything like it. Elias nodded, but his mind was focused. This was only a small victory. The Council may have retreated, but they will return with greater force. We must grow stronger, awaken more of our people, and prepare for what comes next. Vena followed, her arms folded, her gaze wary. And you will awaken them? More humans? You do not know what the Council will do. Each person you wake increases the risk. Elias stopped and looked at her, his expression calm but firm. I understand the risk, but humanity was never meant to be small, hidden, or silent. We survive because we adapt, because we rise when the odds are against us. The Council thought they had buried us. They were wrong. Vena's eyes softened slightly, but her caution remained. She had witnessed the humans' abilities firsthand, their speed of learning, their creativity, and their teamwork. They had turned the Council's overwhelming power into a manageable challenge. She could not deny the truth. Humanity was extraordinary. In the next days, Elias and his crew worked tirelessly. Kiro assisted eagerly, documenting every improvement and learning more about human ingenuity than any scholar in the galaxy could imagine. Vena reluctantly helped, ensuring that the base remained safe while the humans adapted the Luthari technology. The first step was communication. The humans needed to understand the galaxy they had returned to. Elias studied star charts, mapping out safe routes, council territories, and potential allies. He instructed Kiro on the ways humanity could move through space without being immediately detected. Meanwhile, the awakened humans continued to grow stronger. Soldiers trained together, refining skills that had been dormant for centuries. Scientists explored the alien technology, merging it with human knowledge to create systems that were faster, smarter, and more efficient. The base, once a tomb, became a hub of learning and preparation. One evening, Elias gathered his people in the central chamber. The lights flickered softly over their faces as he spoke, his voice steady and commanding. "We have survived the first challenge," he said. "But survival alone is not enough. Humanity was never meant to hide. Our species is built to explore, to create, and to endure. The Council believed they could erase us. They believed they could silence our fire. They were wrong, and now it is time to reclaim our place among the stars." The humans listened in silence, their eyes burning with determination. Even those who had been asleep for centuries felt the truth in his words. They were not weak. They were not powerless. They were alive, and they were united. Kiro, standing nearby, whispered to Vena, "Do you see it? This is more than survival. This is the beginning of something the galaxy has never seen. Humanity is back, and nothing can stop them." Vena remained quiet, her mind heavy with concern. She knew the Council would respond. Their fleets were vast, their power unmatched. But she also knew she had witnessed something incredible. Humans, small in number, could outthink, outadapt, and outmaneuver forces far greater than themselves. Days later, the first signals of the Council's return appeared. Scouts detected movement on the edges of the sector. Elias studied the data carefully, his face calm but focused. "They are coming," he said simply. Vena's eyes widened. "How many?" "The Council will not send just scouts. They will bring fleets," Elias nodded. "Perhaps, but we are ready. Humanity is not just numbers. We are creativity, strategy, and determination. The Council relies on predictability. They forget that humans are unpredictable." As the fleet approached, the humans moved with precision. Drones were programmed to intercept enemy ships, shields were reinforced, and defensive systems were calibrated for maximum efficiency. Soldiers worked in teams, combining tactics and technology in ways the Council could not anticipate. Kiro watched in awe as the humans executed their plan flawlessly. "This is beyond anything I imagined. They are not just fighting. They are thinking, adapting, creating solutions on the spot. It is incredible." Elias stood at the command console, coordinating every move. His voice was calm, yet it carried authority that left no room for hesitation. "Deploy the drones. Use their weapons against them. Keep the shields active. Remember, we are not just defending. We are showing the galaxy that humanity has returned." The Council fleet attacked with force, but the humans anticipated every move. Their strategies were flexible, unpredictable, and effective. Drones intercepted missiles, energy barriers absorbed strikes, and automated turrets targeted enemy ships with precision. The humans used the Council's technology against them, turning their advantage into a weakness. Vena watched silently, unable to believe her eyes. The humans, few in number, were holding their own against the Council's overwhelming might. Their creativity and adaptability made them nearly unstoppable. Kiro laughed quietly, filled with joy. "They are not just surviving, they are winning. The Council underestimated humanity, and now they will pay for it." Hours passed, and the Council fleet began to retreat, confused and battered. The humans had held the line, proving their strength and ingenuity. It was not a complete victory. They had only survived, but it was enough to show the galaxy that humanity was back. Elias turned to Cairo and Vena, his eyes steady and unwavering. "This is only the beginning. We have survived the first challenge, but there are more ahead. The Council will not forget us. They will return. And when they do, humanity will be stronger, united, and ready." Kiro nodded eagerly. "This is just the start. Humanity will rise, and the galaxy will remember what it has lost." Vena remained quiet. Her thoughts conflicted. She had witnessed humans adapt, fight, and survive in ways she could never have imagined. She did not fully trust them, yet she could not deny their power. Humanity was no longer the forgotten species. They were alive, awake, and unstoppable. In the following weeks, The humans prepared for the future. More chambers were activated, awakening additional soldiers, scientists, and leaders. Each new awakening brought fresh knowledge, skills, and determination. The base grew stronger with every passing day, becoming not just a fortress but a center of renewal. Elias oversaw every detail, ensuring that his people worked together with unity and purpose. Kiro documented the progress, learning more about humanity than any scholar could have dreamed. Vena, though still cautious, assisted where necessary, recognizing that humanity's survival now depended on cooperation. Finally, after weeks of preparation, Elias stood once more at the observation deck, gazing at the stars. He spoke softly, but with determination that echoed through the chamber. The galaxy has waited too long for humanity to rise again. They thought we were gone, erased, forgotten, but we were merely sleeping. Now, the time has come to remind them why humanity was once feared, and why we are needed. We will explore, create, and endure. We will reclaim our place among the stars, and we will not stop until the galaxy remembers us once more. Kiro smiled, his heart filled with awe. We will witness history, Captain. Humanity is back. Vena, standing silently beside him, nodded slowly. Though she still felt the weight of danger, she understood one undeniable truth. Humans once awakened could not be stopped. Their resilience, creativity, and unity made them a force that no one in the galaxy could ignore. In the distance, the remaining cryo chambers waited, silent but ready. Millions of humans slept, embers waiting to be rekindled. And when they awoke, the galaxy would feel the full force of humanity's return. Elias turned his gaze back to the stars, his eyes filled with resolve. They thought they buried us. They only planted us. And now the fire returns. The stars above the moon remained indifferent, but below, in the quiet hum of the ancient base, humanity's heartbeat echoed once more. The future had begun.